Welcome everybody. Once again, this is the Limitless Nomad reminding you the only true border is your imagination. And I'm here with Denzel, Make It Happen Pressy. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing excellent, my guy.
All right, great. So, once again, you may have seen him on the previous interview when he was talking about going to Colombia. So this is the 4th month of him being in Colombia from the last interview. And I just wanted to get a touch bases with him and get an update on how things were going for him here living in Medellin, Colombia. And we're in, what's the name of this park?
La Segunda Parque de Laureles, the second park of Laureles.
Okay, great.
Yep.
So, Mr. Pressy, make it happen.
Yes.
Since your decision back in July to move to Medellin, Colombia, do you regret it, or yes or no? Or
Definitely
how has your experience been?
The experience has been splendid. No regrets whatsoever. Basically, when I got here, I had to know that I had to become adjusted and accustomed to the local ways, because before I was here for the 2 weeks, more so as just like a visitor, as a tourist. But being here, I said, hey, I want to live as close to the culture as possible. So getting away from the tourist spots, living extremely like a local. Just doing everything that they do, waking up. Before I was eating breakfast, the American breakfast usually, and I kind of scrapped that after like 2 weeks. I started just eating the empanadas with the café con leche, or your Milo, just doing it like they do. They don't eat that much breakfast in the morning. And yeah, it's just, this has been an experience.
Okay. So could you give us 3 adjustments that you could think of that you have to made as far as living as a local, as opposed to living as a tourist?
Definitely, the first one would be being more conscious as far as price is concerned. And this involves a lot of things too. Usually the locals don't like overpaying for like the basic stuff. So like going out for lunch, basically going to your more favorite restaurants, the restaurants more popular that people frequent a lot. And another thing involved with that too is, coming from the States, we like to tip usually. Tipping out here doesn't exist. Everything is on a, this is how much you got, this is how much you pay basis.
Okay.
That would be like one. The second one would be utilizing the bus and metro system heavily to get around.
Okay.
In the States, we like to use Uber, which they have over here as well. But, when you have that local feel, getting on the bus, especially like when there's rush hour traffic,
right.
having everybody glued to each other's arms, and I even saw a situation where like everybody's trying to get home, so sometimes people are like a little upset because it's tight and you got guys forcing themselves in the train. But nonetheless, people know how it is, and we're all trying to get to the same destination. So having those experiences on the buses, in the taxis, on the metro train, that really got me closer to the culture as well. Because before it was just like Uber here, Uber there.
Right.
And that adds to the experience a lot.
Okay, so you did mention something about breakfast. Let's ask about as far as the average lunch price.
Yeah.
What would that cost be?
That definitely would run you between 7 to 11. So 7,000 pesos, 11,000 pesos, 7 to like 11,000 pesos, which might correlate to like maybe $3 to like $5 max, I think.
$3 to $5 for a full course lunch?
Yeah, full course lunch.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Full course lunch.
All right. Okay, so now as far as making adjustments are concerned, let's see. Do you regret your decision moving here? If not, why not? If so, why so?
Yeah, I have no regrets moving here. And the main reason why I don't have any regrets is because of how the culture is compared to the culture that we grew up in the U.S. Specifically, one thing I love a lot is how people value relationships.
Okay.
Valuing relationships. In the States, the culture is different, especially from like a business perspective. Everybody's working the 9 to 5 or 60-hour work weeks. Everybody's super busy. Not saying that they don't work hard here as well, but
Right.
you know, it's common to have just interactions with your neighbors, all of your neighbors in your neighborhood. Everybody knows each other.
Okay.
You know, talking to, you'll see just walking across the street towards maybe the end of the day, you'll see a group of men just sitting down after a long day. They're popping beers and they're playing card games.
Okay, good.
Just
great,
chilling,
great.
enjoying one another's presence.
Okay.
That's the main reason I'm big on relationships and culture, experiencing the culture here and how people just value family. That's awesome. That's awesome, and that's what I'm about. So
You did mention
great.
about adjusting your eating habits as far as, and also prices of lunches out here from 7,000 to 11,000 pesos. What would you say was the average cost of living month to month, and what does that afford you?
Gotcha. So my average was around, I would say, 550 a month. Just to break that up, basically, let's say between 200 to 300 on the apartment,
Okay.
and then let's say another 200 or so, roughly 150 or 200 on food. You know, and I started cooking a lot too, but I would still go out to eat lunch and dinner. Also, that includes utilizing the metro system to get around town quickly. Also, that involves the nightlife, particularly on Saturdays, Fridays or Saturdays. You know, you can find some good deals around like the usual spots, La 70 or 33.
Okay.
That also involves going to Starbucks a lot too, which
Right.
the prices are in the regular prices that we're used to in the States. But, you know, it's one of the things that I go there. You know, it's open from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So
Okay. So give me you said give me again the cost. Give me a range. You said from
yeah, so I was paying overall in a month was 550, but
550. Okay.
particularly you can find apartments. I would not pay any more than 300 USD.
Now this 550 doesn't mean apartment rent only, right?
No,
That means your monthly food budget, your bills, your rent, and your transportation.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty
550.
interesting. That's even less than what I estimated. I said around 800 to 900, and you would be definitely. Now, what standard of living would that? Would you be living lower class, middle class, upper middle class, high class, or poverty at that rate?
With that, I would say middle class. Yeah, I would say middle class.
Okay, middle class living. Does
Yeah,
that afford
middle
you
class
hot water?
Yeah, that involves hot water.
Okay. Did you have any blackouts or loss of electricity at any time?
Not one time.
And that afforded you Wi-Fi, correct internet access, correct?
Yes,
Because
definitely
you
have
actually
Wi-Fi.
do work on the internet.
Yeah.
And so you definitely need access to Wi-Fi, correct?
Exactly. That's always a requirement.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what you do as far as your business.
Well, business-wise, I basically do digital marketing. So, you know, I work with a handful of clients, running advertisement campaigns for them on social media, you know, Facebook, Instagram. And so, you know, I have clients in different industries, but, you know, that's, it's time intensive, but internet is definitely a requirement, which I established that relationship early on with the clients saying, hey, you know, I'm in Colombia.
Right.
Oh, you're in Colombia. Oh, cool. And they were surprised, but nonetheless, I'm still able to do what I have to do for them and still live and enjoy the local life here as well. So,
Okay, now did you have any drawbacks being in Colombia and establishing your clients and performing work for your clients?
No drawbacks. All of the infrastructure that allows me to do a good job is present here in the U.S. Majority of my clients were on the East Coast, so I think
Present
at
here
that
in
time-
Colombia.
Yeah, you said.
You said present here in the U.S. You meant present here in Colombia.
Yeah, present here in Colombia. So I mean, maybe I had a time difference of like an hour, but that was, you know, on the daylight savings time thing.
Right, understood.
But you know, for the most part, yeah, everything was good. You know,
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. All right, okay, awesome. Looks like we may have to take the rest of this interview indoors. Looks like we're getting a storm cloud coming. The rain comes and goes daily, but we'll continue until we can get as much as we can get in the interview. So, you mentioned about family values, you mentioned about cost of living and able to do your online business and no problems with your internet connection or Wi-Fi, and it was definitely first world amenities.
Definitely.
No blackouts, hot water. Okay, so let me ask you one thing. Since you being an African-American male, let's go touch on the top subject of racism, because there was a lot of people who said, well, every country has racism, and there's racism in Colombia. How would you address a statement like that?
I would say, based off of my experience living here for 4 months and getting around to different parts of the city and even towards like the countryside as well, I have not experienced direct racism. Not to say that it does not exist.
Right.
But from my experience, I have not experienced anything of that nature. And, no place is perfect. You're always going to have your good apples with your bad apples.
Right.
But based off of my experience, our experience growing up, being raised in the US, and then coming to a country like Colombia, it's a vast difference. And I prefer to have or to live in a country where, and to be honest,